Hi, I'm Kelly,
I'm Allison.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Kristen.
and this is Fear and Wine. Hello, welcome to Fear and Wine. We are a horror podcast where we talk about horror TV shows, movies, and more. And we are finishing up Lovecraft Country. We're on the last 2 episodes. So Kristen's going to take us through episode 9 today, which is called Rewind 1921. Another big thing today, you guys, today is the finale of Love Island.
Yes.
And I'm very excited about it. So by the time you guys hear this, obviously we will have our winner, but I'm nervous about it. I've been stressed all weekend. I don't know.
Do you feel
and I've
this
never
one's been
been
overproduced a little bit?
only because they had to. No, really not much more than
Oh.
other seasons, but because they just weren't having the love stories they needed, they did kind of have to do.
Oh.
It was
more.
a special season.
It was a special season.
definitely
It
weird.
didn't. The cast did not do what normally happens, so they did have to
Yeah.
keep making adjustments through the season, and then they kept having to throw people out. I feel like they had to step in, unfortunately,
Yeah.
more than they normally do. I don't think some of the editing has been fair, totally,
Oh.
with
That's what I'm reading.
everyone.
Okay, that's what I'm
but-
getting kind of from social media a little bit. People think
Mhm.
that one person is getting kind of a pretty positive, more of a positive edit than she should, which is
Mhm.
interesting. But
Yeah.
I see, right? I mean, I don't know. I see what's going on. But don't you? So the Nicolandria thing, I get it. I get why everyone's excited about it, but I don't see any chemistry between those two.
Oh, see,
What do
I
you
do.
guys think? You
I
do?
voted for them. Oh yeah, I've saw
Oh,
it since since
okay.
the blindfold challenge. That's when I
Oh,
saw it.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's when I could
Awesome.
tell he had a crush on her from the beginning, and he told people
Oh,
he
he's
did.
definitely
He
yeah.
has. He's
He
been
looks
into
happy
her.
around her, definitely,
But he's been,
versus
yeah, and
okay.
everyone who's left the villa, they've said Nick has told everyone since the beginning that he did have a thing for her.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he
I
told
feel like
Taylor.
that's actually what he goes for.
I need more lore then.
Yeah.
I was just suspicious of him. I don't know. He has that sociopath vibe to me, so I just wasn't sure.
Oh no, I
Where
like
they
him a lot.
pretend to be
I'm
all
just.
sweet and happy and silly, and then later on they come out of a bag on you. But whatever, that's just my own trauma. And
Yeah,
that
no,
kind
and I understand. I understand, but and then I feel like Olandria is a lot like me when I really, really like a guy. It is hard to tell at first, so I kind
I
of.
love
I
her.
don't
I'm just
think.
glad she's not with Taylor anymore. I couldn't
I
stand
know.
him. So
I
ew.
know, and I don't think she was all
Mm-mm.
over Taylor either when she liked him. So I don't know what people
No,
are
I
looking for
agree.
her to
Yeah,
be.
No.
Yeah, so
I
I
agree.
don't know. I'm
I
excited.
think
I
she
just needed.
reluctantly
Uh-huh.
coupled with him, and then kind of felt like she had to make it work, which wasn't fair to her.
Mhm.
I'm
Well,
glad she's still there, though.
she did like him at first too, but her thing is, I think her and Sierra were friends. She just doesn't. I would be the same way.
Oh,
Like that is weird to
girl
me. It's not
code.
something I would
Yeah,
ever do.
Yeah.
Is mess around
yeah,
with a friend's ex or current nothing like that. And I think that's
yeah.
very creepy to her to do.
But could you go?
to
I mean,
do.
going on Love Island, you kind of have to be willing to do
You
that, though.
do.
That seems to
Yeah.
be a big part of it. So
Hmm.
I don't know. That's what I'm getting from it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if she's fully cut out for Love Island. I'm just my worry is just not either going to be them or Amaya and Brian. I need to be the one of them that wins. I need to be one of those two couples
Well, now
that
I'm
wins.
hearing too how many of them actually knew each other before going onto the show. It's
Yeah, which
way
isn't
more than
odd.
just yeah. No, really?
No, think
Oh,
about they're all influencers. They all kind of run in the same circle.
Yeah.
That to me wasn't
I get
weird.
the feeling that they had auditions, but I feel like they handpicked a lot of these people just from social
gotcha,
media. And if you're,
gotcha.
influencers hang out with influencers and do ads and stuff together, so it wouldn't be uncommon.
Yeah, a
But
lot of them are
Okay.
models, so they had worked on jobs together. It really wasn't that weird to me
I
when
just don't
you
know
thought about
anything
it.
about that
Yeah.
scene, apparently. So okay,
Well, as
that's
somebody
cool.
who does, I mean, I'm the only one out of us that doesn't watch it, but
Mhm.
I feel like I have seen it everywhere. I feel like everybody I know and their mom watches this show.
I know. I
It's
wish
It's
like
they
turned into a
didn't.
thing. It's
it
the
really
it
has.
is.
king of right now, I think. Yeah.
It's
I
like
wish
united
they didn't.
everyone this
I
season
I know. I
somehow.
wish it didn't either.
I wish. I hate all the new fans suck. You guys are
Ugh.
It
really
makes
Yeah.
it
ruining the show.
unbearable to watch.
Sorry, guys.
Honestly.
Sorry.
Oh,
I've
I
been
haven't
there
voted
since
though. I didn't
UK
ruin any of
season
the
1.
voting. I promise.
No,
No,
not
but
the
you're not
voting.
saying like crazy stuff online too,
Yeah,
and
it's the
Oh,
coming up
wildness.
with
okay.
like
The fans
wild stuff.
racist and rude and mean
Oh,
comments online. It
damn.
used to just
It's
be fun
yeah.
online, and now it's so mean.
oh
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
And I
What's
think
wrong
it's
with
because last
people?
season was so successful that more people are like, well, let me see what this season's about, and it just went a little too
I tried to
crazy.
go back and watch last season, and those people are dry to me. Like I don't know. I was bored with them. I really tried.
Oh.
So I'm switching over to the UK, the current UK one, and
Mm.
I want to see what's going on there. So
The current
they seem
UK
to be
one
a little bit
starts
more,
slow.
they don't seem to do as much making out immediately on the UK, which I
Mhm.
appreciate. It's like they go in so hard so fast. And
Yeah,
ugh.
the current
Mm.
UK season has started a little slow, but because I'm watching it too.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now. So I've watched UK since season 1. Season 1 and 2 are
Wow.
outrageous. I
I
don't
love
know.
season
I
2.
would
Or
I
was it
would
season
tell
2 or
you
3?
start
Really?
with
Go back and
season
watch
3.
those?
No, start
Okay.
season 1 and 2 are
Season
so
three.
outrageous. I don't know if you can even compare them to what is true Love Island right now. Like
Okay.
outrageous. But start with season 3. It's the funniest season I've
I like season
I
3.
still
It's
go and
good.
rewatch it cuz they crack
Oh,
me
I'll watch
up.
that one then. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down for the concept, but it's just I don't know. I feel like who Shelly and Ace going home, as much as I
Mhm.
didn't really like Ace that much, they were the most the
Mhm.
couple that made the most I don't know. They didn't deserve to go home. That was crazy to me.
That was
Just
crazy,
crazy.
especially when you
Yeah.
saw that last episode. Chris cannot stand Huda anymore. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone else was talking about their peaks and pits, and he's like, basketball
He
with the
didn't even mention her. Yeah.
boys, and then had the nerve to say, "Was there anything else?" No, that's it. That's it.
You could tell she was mad about it though, so she's gonna talk shit later. Like I feel like we're gonna see the aftermath of his choice
Mhm.
to not mention her because she was side eyeing him during that
It
for
took
sure.
everything in her to
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
pop off at that moment.
only because his mom was there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I have seen
That's
some funny
cracking up.
trends that come across like my TikTok for you page. Like there will be women who watch the show and they'll go up to their husband in the middle of like doing yard work and they'll talk to him like they're
Can I
on the
grab you for a
show.
chat?
Yeah, can
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
pull you for a chat? And the dudes are like, okay, like what do you? And it's very funny.
Hmm.
It
So,
is funny. It's cute.
and
This
of
has
All
been
right.
course
a fun
the
season for that.
I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a mommy. That
Yeah.
audio is still so funny to me, Mamacita.
Yes.
Like she doesn't even know that went viral yet. So imagine coming out.
She
She's
knew
gonna
when
make
her
money off it somehow, I bet. But
Yeah,
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
it was
Mm.
actually Nick's line that made it
yeah.
funny, but,
Yeah.
Mamacita.
Yeah.
yeah. But her sister
Mommy of
told
what?
her. She's like, "What?" And Nick didn't even remember saying it because he's like, "Yeah, everyone told me about that, but I don't even remember."
He
Yeah.
said, of a dog?
That's
So
funny.
good, but, yeah, so we'll see what happens tonight. But anyway, back to Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, since this
Um,
isn't a Love Island show, but
yes, this episode much less fun and funny, but still a really good one.
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
But our question for today's episode is, if you had to quickly escape from your home due to a fire, and let's assume all pets and people have made it out safely, but you have the ability to retrieve one item and take it with you, what would it be?
This
I
was
feel like we're
easy
specially
for me.
equipped to answer this question because we have to evacuate for hurricanes a
This is
lot,
true.
That's
right?
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a lot of stuff that's worth anything. So,
I don't
I mean,
It can
either.
be sentimental. It doesn't have to be like
yeah.
your most
Well, I'm taking
expensive
pictures. I
item.
have a box that I put all my picture books into whenever we go to hurricane season. So I take that box with me that
Oh, I like
has all my
that.
pictures in it. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
I like that.
See, I was going to go
Hmm.
along the same lines, but it was going to be my external hard drive because most of my
Oh.
photos are
Oh.
on that.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a lot
Smart.
of hard copy photos anymore that I can't replace. I do have some, like in my top drawer, I keep some like from when I was a kid that are just like the only copy that I'll ever have. So
Oh.
I guess if I could grab both, I would. Or
I
my
have pictures from
camera.
the 30s, so
Mm.
I want to really
Oh,
Oh,
keep them.
wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's neat.
Yeah, my
My
family, my
grandmother used to have
dad's.
boxes and boxes of photos, and just through the years, them being put in storage, some were damaged, and some were lost and that type of thing. But she had some old photos of like her mom in a Model T, and I always really
Oh,
wanted that, but I don't know if she still has it.
you should ask.
I
Mm.
should, because
Yeah.
I would love to have that.
To have at least one, or
Yeah.
a couple is really nice. I have
Yeah.
a bunch that from my dad was born in 1938, so actually the 40s, because he was probably about one or two in the photos that I first have of him. So, and they're all
Aw.
black and white, and everybody's all dressed up, and it's really
Oh,
interesting to see
cool.
how much culture's changed. But yeah, I think pictures for me for sure.
Mhm.
Oh, nice. For me, this actually made me think because I could think of the things I wanted, and I'm like, wow, I have them in the worst possible place in my house. So I actually need to put them in a nice box somewhere not upstairs in the guest room because they're right here where I am right now. But mine is this folder of old letters and cards that I have from people from like
Oh,
friends from high school and college and some family.
oh,
So it kind of started. I even have these a bunch of these letters, handwritten letters from my best friend Pete, because when we were in
Aw.
college, my mom told us, she's like, listen, because this was back when you had minutes. She's like, listen, you two aren't running up my minutes on the phone. So I suggest you two get to writing letters. So we
That's so
started writing
oh,
letters to
that's
cute.
each
so
other in
cool.
college. And they're the funniest things. I just have all these funny old letters
I love
in his handwriting.
Yeah, you need them
So
in a go box for sure
I
because that's a
do.
or like a
sentimental
little fireproof
treasure.
something.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
know. And then I have
Yeah.
like letters. I think I might have like some from Allison, some from, it's just a bunch of just from friends and stuff that
Oh,
but
that's
like people don't
nice.
write anymore, so I have to keep
No,
them.
I wish I had a whole shoebox full of notes like from middle school from my friends and I. And I mean, I'm sure it was full of dumb stuff talking about boy bands or, what a teacher was annoying us that day. But I wish so badly that I'd kept those. I don't know what I ever did with them. It's just
My
over the
mom's a
years,
pack
stuff
rat.
gets
We have
put,
everything, all the pictures. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm lucky in that aspect because I mean, she kept everything. So I even have like the senior pictures that my friends gave me when we graduated with all the stuff they wrote on the back and
I love
everything. So
that.
I
yeah.
lost most of mine.
Aw.
Oh,
I feel like my mom has that too because she keeps telling me I need to come over to her house and get this box.
ooh, she might have it.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's in that box, but she needs me to get out of her house now. So,
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, let us know.
because I think Kelly, didn't you get a box too of
I got
your
a
old
box.
stuff?
Yeah, so she kept the last. I've gotten several boxes, but the last one I got was just like she saved every pair of dance shoes I've ever had. So I have these
Oh,
very very
right.
tiny pair of tap shoes, and
Oh,
I kept those. And then like
that's
the
precious.
middle age ones, I was like, I don't need like middle age tap shoes, but I kept ones that fit me now if I want to do it again. And then I kept my first pair. But then she also included just baby dress shoes, as though I'm gonna have a child, or I don't know what I'm gonna do
Aw.
what am I gonna do with these baby dress shoes?
Were
She's
they ones
throwing
that you
hints.
wore?
Yeah, they were my baby dress shoes, but I was like, I don't
Aw.
need the dress shoes. The tap shoes I love because
Yeah.
that's
It's still
sentimental,
just so
but
cool
shoes.
to know that like you had that on your tiny little foot.
Yeah.
Like I have
I
good
think it's sweet.
intentions. I keep stuff from my kids. Like I have some onesies that my kids wore when they were small and a couple of like an outfit maybe that I have them in a photo wearing or something like that, but I'm just terrible at keeping stuff like organized. So I'll put it away with the intentions of keeping it for later and then it's just like, where did I put that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
your
I'm
mom
the
did much
same
better
way.
than I do.
My poor
Yeah.
kids, I throw everything away. So
Oh,
I feel like I
yeah.
do too. That's why I'm like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
nice that you guys have stuff.
I don't keep
right.
cards and all that. I just throw them away. I'm just
Mm-mm.
like, okay, bye.
See, I do, but mine aren't organized like Kelly's. Mine are just like
Oh,
tossed in a drawer, and I'm like, I don't know when this was from, but it's got my grandma's signature on it. I should keep it.
Yeah, I have
Aw.
letters from my grandma. If it's just a card and it's just like a birthday card and they just sign their name, I do throw those away.
Yeah.
But if they wrote something nice in there, that I want to keep, I keep that. But
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's probably in that box. I'm gonna have to look and see what's in this box
yeah.
because then I could probably have an answer for today. But I don't have, I don't have kids or anything, and I'm not allowed to get stuff that's expensive or like have some sentimental value because I will lose it. That's like a known thing in my family. I've left my purse all over the state of Florida.
Oh my gosh.
Like I'm not if it cannot be a crossbody, if it cannot stay on my body without me touching it, I cannot
She
own
will
that
leave
purse.
it.
So Kelly gets all my mom's old purses, so I don't have anything expensive
Yeah.
or nice from my mom.
Oh.
So she gets everything nice, like all the jewelry and everything. So I just don't trust myself. But I do have my first dog, Peachy, who passed away not too long ago. He had a toy, and I kept that toy. Like, he loved this
Aw.
toy. It was a little baby rhino, and I kept it away from the other dogs.
Aw.
They're not allowed to play with it, like, because it was his. So that's probably something I would
Wait,
grab.
is that the rhino I got him? Or
Yes,
another
I think it was.
Oh, that
Oh,
little
that's
durable
so
one.
Oh,
That you
cute.
yeah,
can
Aw.
tear up?
he was very intimate with that rhino. So he wouldn't let anybody touch it. That was his girlfriend. I said, okay.
Oh.
And I won't let the other dogs touch it now either. I was like, nope, it's staying away.
Yeah, so you'd have to
Aw.
save the rhino.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cute.
adorable. Well, moving
right.
from the adorableness to this episode, not a lot of adorableness in this episode. It's pretty heavy, I think, but really one of the best, I think. Kelly mentioned this is Rewind 1921. It is our penultimate episode of Lovecraft Country. And let me just say, I think this is one of the most emotionally powerful episodes of the series. And it's not because of like the monsters and the spells and the ancient, it's not all of that. It's more because of that this episode does something really brilliantly and it makes us bear witness to events from history and things that may have happened in the past that people don't want to pay attention to or pretend maybe that they didn't happen. And so I think that's really an important aspect of today's episode. So we're going to walk through the episode and unpack some real world history. We're going to talk about the Tulsa Race Massacre, the Greenwood District, and kind of the legacy of generational trauma as it relates to those things. So you might want to pour a glass of wine for today's episode because it is a little bit heavy, but it will be an interesting one, I think. So is everyone ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
All right.
This episode's wine pairing is Materra Midnight. The 2019 Midnight has dominant notes of raspberry, red currant, and black tea, with subtle notes of licorice and white pepper. The flavors feature cocoa, black cherry, cinnamon, vanilla, and spicy oak. This is a medium-bodied wine that is a blend of 45% Malbec, 32% Merlot, 21% Petit Verdot, and 2% Petit Syrah with a surprisingly powerful finish. Pair this delicious red wine blend with red meats like lamb and beef. Enjoy! For more information about us and all of the wines that we feature, visit our website at fearandwine.com. And make sure you follow Fear and Wine wherever you listen to podcasts so that you don't miss a new episode. And if you like us, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. Thanks!
Okay, we pick up right after the terrifying end of episode 8. Diana is cursed by Captain Lancaster and withering away fast. She looks like one of those topsy bopsy twins that we had talked about, kind of in just like the aspect of her skin and her face, but her arms and her skin are starting to kind of wither. So, desperate, Tick and Letty go to Christina for help. She agrees to reverse the curse, but only if Tick agrees to willingly participate in the autumnal equinox ceremony, which, to be clear, is code for sacrificing himself to help Christina achieve her immortality that she's trying to achieve. So he's going to die if he does agree to this. So Letty's pretty furious about this idea, and Montrose is kind of shocked, but there's no time to argue. Christina says the only way to save Dee is to retrieve the missing pages from the Book of Names, and no one has seen the Book of Names since 1921 Tulsa on the night of the massacre. In this moment, Hippolyta returns and she freaks out when she sees the shape that her daughter is in. She says that they need to get to the observatory so she can help send them to Tulsa to get the Book of Names. She has the key, she has everything they need to work Hiram's machine. So it kind of worked out in timing in that place. So Tick, Letty, Montrose, and they bring Dee with them. They all head to Hiram's time machine, and using Christina's spell and the key and everything else, they are swept into the past. So before we follow Tick, Letty, and Montrose through the portal, we need to pause and really understand like where they're going and why it matters. Because this isn't just the backdrop for sci-fi, it's a real place and it's a real event. And for a very long time, it's been left out of our history books. I never learned about this in any of my classes
I
in
was going to
school.
say
Me
the
either.
same thing. Like, we
Mhm.
do Black History Month, and I remember learning about inventors or, positive
Mhm.
Black
They
history,
teach
but
us about MLK every year. So
yeah,
it's kind of
right.
like,
Right.
And it's
yeah.
kind of the same rehashed stuff, but
Mhm.
I never learned about this ever.
Me neither.
Yeah,
And
I
I think
didn't
it's
till this show.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Same. And that was really upsetting to me because I try to pride myself on being someone who pays attention or knows what really went on. And this was just really a blank for me. What about
Yeah.
you, Allison? Had you heard of this before?
I had heard of it, but not through school. Like, it was
Okay.
through
Other
probably, like,
means,
my
yeah.
mom or something. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna go a little bit more into the history. So we are talking about the Tulsa Race Massacre, and it is one of the most violent and devastating racial attacks in American history. In the early 20th century, Tulsa, Oklahoma was actually a booming oil town. And nestled within it was a neighborhood known as Greenwood. And this neighborhood was an entirely Black district built from the ground up by formerly enslaved people and their descendants. By 1921, Greenwood was home to over 10,000 Black residents with hundreds of businesses. They had grocery stores, movie theaters, they had medical offices, restaurants, hotels, a public library. It had its own schools and even its own newspaper. while Tulsans called it quote unquote Negro Wall Street, but to the Black residents, it was just their home. It was a dream realized, a rare place where Black prosperity, safety, and community flourished in the Jim Crow South. But on May 30th, 1921, a 19-year-old Black shoe shiner named Dick Rowland was riding an elevator in a downtown building. At some point during this brief ride, he either tripped or stumbled, maybe stepped on the foot of the 17-year-old white elevator operator named Sarah Page. She screamed, and there's no evidence that he harmed her in any way. She never pressed any charges, so it wasn't supposed to turn into anything. But the next day, the Tulsa Tribune ran a front page story titled, quote, Nab Negro for attacking girl in elevator. And it was filled with all this inflammatory language and even a call to lynch him.
Mm.
So by the evening of May 31st, a white mob of nearly 2,000 people had gathered outside the courthouse demanding Rowland's release. A group of about 75 Black men, many of them World War I veterans, arrived to defend him. So a white man tried to grab a Black man's gun, a shot went off, and that's all it took. What followed next was 18 hours of terror. From that moment, chaos exploded. White mobs stormed Greenwood. They looted homes. They set fire to entire blocks. They murdered Black residents in the streets and shot people from moving cars. But it didn't stop there. And this is something that we do see in the Lovecraft Country episode. Planes come over the top of the area, likely flown by former WW1 pilots. They dropped kerosene bombs on the neighborhood, making Tulsa the first American city to experience an aerial bombing on civilians. Police not only failed to intervene, they actively deputized white men and armed them. And by the morning of June 1st, Greenwood had been reduced to ashes. Here are some of the devastating statistics. At least 300 Black residents were killed. Many estimates say the number is much higher than that, though. Over 1,200 homes were destroyed. More than 10,000 Black Tulsans were left homeless. No insurance claims were honored, and no white person was ever prosecuted. And the part that really cuts the deepest is for decades, no one has talked about it. And the city of Tulsa buried the massacre. Schools didn't teach it. Survivors were silenced. And there are still mass graves being unearthed in Oklahoma today.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot to unpack. Like I said, pretty heavy.
I
In the
didn't
beginning,
realize schools
go
in
ahead,
Tulsa didn't teach it or knew
yeah,
about it.
you
Wow.
would think if anywhere did, it would be there.
Mhm.
Buried
But-
it, which is, what we do
And-
with our uncomfortable history.
And the whole event that set it all off is giving big, like, Emmett Till vibes to me,
Mhm.
also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I feel like what Lovecraft Country does in Rewind 1921 is really special in that it makes us bear witness to this event. It places Black time travelers in the middle of an erased atrocity and refuses to look away. It makes us say this happened, this is real, and our ancestors lived through it. And now we get to live through it too. So arriving in 1921, Letty, Tick, and Montrose, they end up kind of splitting up, but Tick follows his father. Letty's mission is to retrieve the Book of Names from Tick's maternal ancestors, Hattie and Dora. Tick stays close to Montrose because we start to see really early on that he has a lot of personal trauma that is deeply intertwined with this specific moment in history. It begins as a beautiful day in Greenwood. Letty even tells Tick that she's pregnant and that they should name him George. So there's kind of this joy between them and in the atmosphere initially. But while our main trio is navigating 1921, we also see something unfolding back whenever this was taking place. So Ruby is confronting Christina about being used to get to Tick. So Ruby kind of realizes now that she's been a ploy or a play the whole time. And she actually seems kind of hurt and betrayed. Like, I almost feel like she has a real relationship with Christina now. Like, she feels tied to her. And she asks if Christina plans to kill Atticus, and she admits that she needs his blood to become immortal. So Ruby makes Christina promise that Letty won't be harmed, and Christina does, which isn't Letty already under that spell that she can't be harmed anyway? So
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. That's not really asking for much, but that's okay. After this, we see Christina in the body of William now, and she's making her own moves. So if you remember, Captain Lancaster, he's the one that had set the spell or whatever he did with Dee. And he's that police officer in Chicago, and he's kind of heading the Lodge of the Sons of Adam. He's been experimenting with that dark magic, most recently when he cursed Diana, and he's using black bodies for all these twisted rituals. And in early episodes, we learned that he has undergone grotesque procedures to transfer body parts between himself and others, attempting to gain immortality. So tying all back to Hiram Epstein and all of that, this has kind of been something that's been going on for a while. So now we actually see that Lancaster is dying. He's rotting from the inside. And Christina shows up as William again, not to save him, but instead she wants to watch him die. She calmly informs him that his attempts to extend life failed, and then she kills him brutally and efficiently, marking the end of Lancaster's reign and the final step in her takeover. While claiming to be different from all these men who oppressed her, I see her kind of get this as William. She looks so happy as she watches Lancaster die. Like there is this smile and elation on her face as she watches this man die. So she doesn't seem very innocent to me, but she's trying to play it off that way, kind of. So now we're back in Greenwood, and Letty finds herself at Hattie's house. This is the heart of Tick's maternal bloodline and where the Book of Names is supposedly located. And everyone is very suspicious of her at first. They do not trust her. They don't really understand what's going on. She's very strange. She's from a different time. And in a moment of desperation, she just decides to explain the whole situation to Hattie, who sensed the truth anyway, even without understanding the magic. She ends up entrusting her with the Book of Names. She also ends up delivering a prayer and a plea and a blessing. She says she knows at this point that they're all going to burn, but when Letty tells her that a grandson is going to be born or great grandson, she ends up blessing, Letty and Tick and the whole bloodline. She says that she knows she's going to die, but she chooses to pass the book on. Screaming can be heard from outside, and the burning is beginning. And as this is happening, Hattie and Letty begin to say the Our Father prayer together. So they're holding hands. And when this happens, things start to catch fire all around them. So we can tell that the house that they're in has, a bomb's been set to it, or one of those kerosene bombs. And while they're saying the Our Father, it slowly changes into the poem Catch the Fire by Sonia Sanchez. So I don't know if you guys want me to read this poem or not, but I think it's a very powerful poem. I can come back to it in a minute. But so in this moment, while this poem is being recited in the background, Hattie burns up and she dies right in front of Letty. Remember, Letty has that spell on her, so she can't be hurt. So as the fire spreads, Letty starts to walk through the flames, untouched by harm, thanks to Christina's invulnerability spell. She becomes a vessel of memory. She's carrying this knowledge in this book, and she's literally walking through the massacre with, the future in her arms. So history is burning, but the knowledge is surviving and the memory is surviving. So again, it's about bearing witness and remembering what has happened in the past.
Was anyone
Meanwhile, oh, go
Oh,
ahead. Sorry.
I just wanna say, was anyone else watching the scene and was like, "Letty, could you run?" or something? Because
Yeah.
Yes.
especially with what was going on with Hippolyte, it's like, "Could you just
Yeah.
speed up a little
Right.
bit?"
Yeah.
That whole slow walk like you get in all like horror
Yeah.
movies and stuff. Just come on.
Yeah.
So-
Definitely taking her time. And I did kind of what I did with From. I condensed the storylines together because there's a lot of going back and forth, and I think that can get more confusing for people who aren't seeing it. But so while this is going on with Letty, Montrose has been spiraling. So he's going through watching his younger self because he's back in time, but he's actually there as a child as well. And these are always the stories with time travel that warp my mind so much, But
Yeah, I
so he's
know.
watching his younger self, right? His father's abusive, horrible to him. I think the father kind of has an inkling of Montrose's sexuality and is not happy about it. And George, though, was always there to protect him. So we're kind of seeing that Uncle George, as a teenager, was there to protect his brother. So Montrose ends up sneaking off to spend time with Thomas, his first love. In Greenwood, the mob, though, is in full force. So we learned that ashamed and afraid, he ends up outing Thomas to protect himself when these white men approach them. And he never told anyone this, but moments later, Thomas is shot at point blank range right in front of Montrose
Oh, that's
by these
terrible.
white men. And it is awful, really horrifying. So we kind of, I think, we're learning about Montrose's trauma and why he ended up being the way he did and ended up treating, Tick the way he did. So I think this is an important moment for Tick to see as well. So this is Montrose's most heartbreaking confession. It kind of gives us an understanding of his violence, his shame, his silence. He wants to intervene and stop his younger self from making such a huge mistake. But he and Tick have a heart to heart and understand that he can't intervene because then Tick wouldn't exist. So if this had all worked out and everything had been okay and Montrose hadn't ended up with his mother, and if they change, it's that butterfly effect. So they can't change anything. So later, Montrose tells Tick that you've got the best parts of me, even the parts I tried to beat out of you. And I think it's the most honest thing that he actually ever says to his son. So then comes the moment of legend. George and Dora arrive to kind of help Montrose in this situation. And Montrose has told this story before, how someone came in with the bat and saved them all. So a young Montrose and George are attacked by this group of white teens, and Tick is watching, waiting for this mysterious stranger with the bat to show up. And that's because that's his father's story, about this event this whole time. A mystery man came and saved him and George from sure death, swinging a bat just like Jackie Robinson. And when no one shows up, Tick looks down at the ground and there's actually a bat laying on the ground in front of him. So he picks it up.
Oh.
Go ahead. Yeah, I
No,
love
no,
that.
no. I'm just
You get
putting
it.
2 and 2 together.
Yay,
That's
I
all.
love that you got that. Okay. Yeah. So 'cause I'm not sure when you're not watching it if you like catch the moment, but you
Yeah.
did. And I love that little like moment because he picks up
Yeah.
the bat and he looks at Montrose, the grown Montrose, and he says, "I got you, kid." And that was what the guy in Montrose's memory
Oh,
said.
ooh, that's
So,
so cool.
right? He becomes his own protector, his own hero. This is all playing out while that poem is playing and being recited. So we have kind of a back and forth between the Letty moment and the Montrose moment with this really profound poem being recited. And I'd love to just say a little bit of it because I think, I love these literature connections.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I'd
a
love to
big
hear
part of
it.
this show
Yeah.
since it is based on a writer. I won't read the whole thing because it's pretty long, but she says, "Sometimes I wonder what to say to you now in the soft afternoon air as you hold us all in single death. I say, where is your fire? I say, where is your fire? You got to find it and pass it on. You got to find it and pass it on from you to me, from me to her, from her to him, from the son to the father, from the brother to the sister, from the daughter to the mother, from the mother to the child. Where is your fire? I say, where is your fire? Can't you smell it coming out of the past? The fire of living, not dying, the fire of loving, not killing, the fire of blackness, not gangster shadows. Where is our beautiful fire that gave light to the world?" And I'll stop there, but it's a long poem. Sonia Sanchez, Catch the Fire, and definitely go back and read the whole thing if you like the beginning.
I like that. Yeah.
I think it's really a beautiful, beautiful poem. All right, so let me come back to where we were because I will bring in the Hippolyta part because I'm not going to leave that out. That's coming as well. She's still there. So, as Greenwood burned down, the mission complete, Tick and Montrose escape and return to the observatory just as the entire city of Tulsa burns. Tick jumps through just as the portal closes, and Montrose ends up being left behind in 1921. Letty is not there yet either, because remember, she's slow walking through the streets with the book. So,
She'll be a while.
yeah, she's taking her time. So the portal no longer exists. And Montrose all of a sudden like goes to the window and he's looking out on everything burning and he starts talking of all of the loss. And I think he bearing witness to the deaths and the tragedy. He starts describing all the terrible things that happened to the people that they loved. Back in the lab, Hippolyta has grabbed these electric wires to open the portal back up, and she is kind of like levitated and being electrocuted by these wires, but she will do anything to save her daughter at this point. So, as Montrose watches the planes dropping the bombs, Letty walks triumphant with the book through the fire, and she finally arrives, cradling the book of names. Hippolyta is still holding on to these wires, like basically electrocuting herself, they're taking their time getting through, but the portal is reopened just in time for Letty and Montrose to come through it. And in the process, Hippolyta's hair turns blue and it looks a lot like like the space traveler version of her, which is interesting. And she ends up collapsing in Tick's arms at the end. And we end the episode with her unconscious, but she still has her blue hair too, which I kind of thought was interesting. But they did what they came to do. They got the book, they got it back safely, I think Montrose may have even kind of healed some generational trauma while he was there. And I think this is really an example of historical horror, which I think is a genre that we don't really talk about as much or we don't see as much. And I think it's really important to bearing witness to Black history because so much of it is violent,
Mhm.
and we can't just bury the stories. And I think we need to keep telling them.
Well,
So I
everything you
think this
described
episode,
is extremely horrific. I mean, it
yeah.
doesn't
Mhm.
get any more horrible than that. So,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree. So hopefully I didn't leave out any important parts of this episode, but because there's a lot going on, and I really wanted to focus more on the history of Tulsa
Mhm.
and what happened there, and still connect it to the story. Because I think this
Mhm.
this part of the story is more about the history and a little bit less about and we still get the Sons of Adam stuff, with William, and we know Captain Lancaster's dead now. Dee at the end of this episode is still she's at the observatory, but she's still not okay. So we don't know what's going to happen with her or Hippolyta, who is now also unconscious. So
Mhm.
it's still we're still not out of the woods yet, but at least they got that book of names back with the information that they needed. So any
Yeah,
questions?
this episode, I think, focused more, like you said, on the history of Tulsa and what happened that day. It didn't so
Hmm.
much forward the story of the main
Hmm.
group and what they're
Yeah,
gonna do, but it's a
yeah,
really cool episode if you could
I
watch it.
agree.
Yeah. And weren't there recently, I mean, there were still some survivors from that Tulsa massacre that were still or are still living. I
Really?
don't think there were that many, but I'm pretty sure I remembered hearing about them in the news not long ago.
Hmm.
There might
But
be. I mean,
It
it was
could be
1921. They would be a little over 100 years
100.
old.
Mhm.
So it's possible, definitely. I'm going to look it up while we're chatting. I can
Yeah, it's
see.
yeah, I
definitely
mean, I'm sure
possible.
they were children when it
Yeah,
happened, but
Mhm.
and
babies
just
even.
They would
I
have to
can't
be babies, yeah.
I can't believe like how flourishing and everything that the town was. Like when you explained all the
Mhm.
stuff that they had, libraries, hospitals, like everything.
Mm.
And then
Wow.
that was
Okay,
just
so there's
all
still two
taken away.
survivors. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I didn't
you're
mean to
good.
interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Leslie Benningfield Randall and Viola Fletcher. Both women are over 100 years old. Fletcher is 110, and Randall
Okay.
was 109 as of June
Wow.
2024. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Oh, they
Hmm.
have a lawsuit that argues that the massacre created a public nuisance that continues to affect the community and perpetuates racial disparities in Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
Although their lawsuit was dismissed by the Oklahoma Supreme Court in 2024, the survivors and their legal team remain committed to pursuing justice. They are exploring other legal avenues and they advocate for a federal investigation under the Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act.
Hmm.
Wow.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I've
So,
I've heard it argued, that really set Black people back a lot,
oh, yeah.
just in general, because of how much progress they had
10,000
made.
thriving residents. Yeah,
Right. And
crazy.
it was just taken all away just overnight for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
Oh,
But I'm
wow.
glad that we have learned more about it because obviously they aren't teaching it to us in school. And I mean, I think that seems like a really important part of our history a lot of people should know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't even understand how do you not know about it in Oklahoma? Like, I feel like
Right?
those
Yeah,
schools should at least teach it. I know I never had heard about it
that's
until
shocking.
TV shows started talking about it. It
So,
really
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Mm.
book, I know I mentioned it before, but that book that I've been listening to, I'm sure it's probably going to get to something about this, but
Mm.
it has been, I have learned so much that I just had no idea happened. It's called, again, Black AF History, The Unwhitewashed Story of America. It's by
Mhm.
Michael Harriot. So,
Yeah, I need to listen to that. I love audiobooks, so
mhm.
I
yeah, me
definitely
too.
need to
And
get
he's
that.
funny. Like he actually like has some levity in between to kind of break up. He does these like little multiple choice questions and they're really silly. Like they you'll have to read it or listen to it to understand, but it's
Mhm.
kind of funny the way that he does it. So,
Well, speaking of
yeah.
funny history, have you guys ever watched Drunk History?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my
Yes.
favorite stories ever that they cover is like the Rosa Parks Claudette Colvin thing. It
Yes.
is so hilarious. And I mean, I'm assuming that they're using mostly correct facts.
It's
Of course the
usually
drunk people
true.
aren't, but
Mhm.
yeah, but it's like I think about that episode all the time. It's
That
so
was a
It's
good
funny.
one.
funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did they talk about in the Rosa Parks episode, did they talk about the pizza guy, Pizza Little
the
Caesars?
No, I don't think
No.
so.
I don't
So,
recall that.
this is a really interesting little piece of history. So,
Okay.
the owner of Little Caesars paid for Rosa Parks's rent, all of her bills, everything for decades until she passed
Oh.
away, but
Oh,
didn't
wow.
didn't advertise it or anything. It was just he felt that it was a part of his legacy to give back to her for what she had done. So,
Right.
I always love Little Caesars for that.
Yeah, that's so
Oh,
cool. Now
wow.
that you say that, I think I remembered hearing something about it, but I
Hmm.
don't think it was referenced on Drunk History.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but
It's
that's
a good little
awesome.
factoid.
It
Mhm.
is. I love that.
Awesome. Well,
Very
thanks.
good. Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah, that was great.
Hopefully, I did it
Mhm.
justice.
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay.
And we will be back to finish up Lovecraft Country next week with the finale.
All
So thanks,
right.
everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
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 For more information about our episodes, follow us on Instagram at Fear and Wine Pod. And if you have a fun discussion question that you'd like for us to answer on the podcast, send it to us at fearandwinepod@gmail.com.